Join us for a review of the new Audi Q5 Sportback. Let's go. In the front, the new Audi Q5 Sportback doesn't look too different from the normal Q5 that was recently facelifted. You see here this huge single frame grille that looks really impressive. It looks actually a little bit bigger than the whole vehicle than it actually is. Here there's also the sporty S-Line design package, so we have a high gloss front grille here. Headlamps start with LED from base and also shows a nice daytime running light. And option you can get the Matrix LED. The length is at 4.69 meters, 15'4" or 185 inches. So that's just a centimeter longer than the normal Q5, but the difference is just a little bit longer spoiler overhang. Of course, the main difference is that roofline, and it's falling down right here. So similar to the other SUV coupe competitors. However, it does not have this very round look. So Audi doesn't do that. It didn't do that with the Audi Q8, for example, if you compare it with the Q7. So whereas BMW more goes for a round shape in the rear, then here a more angular look still. Not with the rear, which also has this very distinctive character. We know the Q3 Sportback also looks somewhat similar, and maybe you've seen here, when I approach the vehicle, then the tail lamp shows me that I'm approaching it, It's sometimes a little bit, going back and forth because I'm obviously not as big as a vehicle. But the reason behind it, that when the vehicle approaches from the rear, it also signalizes this vehicle like you're getting closer to me. And there are different, effects from this OLED. So these organic LEDs, this is another option you can pick. You can also go for that if you haven't picked the Matrix LED in the front. So it's a separate piece you can also book with this vehicle, also with a normal Q5 facelift. And they really look very, very flat and very, very well integrated. A very modern look, definitely. As for engines, both with petrol or with diesel, you get 2-liter 4-cylinders or 3-liter 6-cylinders. This one here, for example, being a 45 TFSI, that means 265 horsepower for this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine with all-wheel drive. Front plus rear on demand. And the 3-liter 6-cylinders, they have the classic quattro system, so rear wheel biased all-wheel drive. And there will also be the SQ5 models in Europe. There will still be the SQ5 TDI, the diesel. In the US, for example, you get the SQ5S turbo petrol engine. So not a real difference from the normal Q5. As for the engine lineup, the only difference is the entry-level diesel with the lowest horsepower figure is not available for the Sportback here, but you still get an entry-level diesel then with front-wheel drive. And for a lot of the engines, you also get a mild hybrid technology, and based on the 2-liter TFSI, there will be 2 plug-in hybrid versions. Let's get inside, and the seat form itself is quite comfortable here, and you also have enough space with 1.86 or 6'1". Leaves a lot of headroom still. This is a vehicle without a panoramic roof here at the moment. You can also get one. Nice that we have the bright ceiling, so at least it's still bright here, although we don't have a panoramic roof. If you go for a panoramic roof, it's always matter of philosophy if you like it or not. Again, a good seating position here. We also have an electric steering wheel here, so it goes up and down and also in and out. And soon we're going to talk about all these instruments and so on. Interior overview here with the soft touch dashboard. Then you can see here the infotainment system sticks out. Since the recent Q5 facelift, the Sportback now also gets this 10.1-inch screen, always in this size, just with different content on it. Left side would start with analog instruments and then optionally these 12.3-inch virtual cockpit instruments, and they're really impressive. You can also switch the styling, zoom more details to the screens. Steering wheel has a good size here, very compact. Right side you control the volume, left side you control the digital instruments. The whole user interface is very simple and straightforward, and also you can very easily reach this touchscreen here while sitting here. So yes, there is no MMI knob anymore also for this model here, but you can very well control this, and the menu structure is also easy. The infotainment system is sophisticated but still easy to control. You either have this home screen or this one. I rather prefer this one. It just gives me everything I need, and I can go to the GPS or Apple CarPlay, but I can also realign them here on the left side, depending on what I want, for example. And here the responsiveness quite okay, and also the visualization looks very modern. The car select here, that is, for example, then for the drive select, you can have it right here once again. Also pick it here in the screen then for the suspension settings, relevant for adaptive suspension and for adaptive air suspension. Then look at this area here, because there, when I switch to the sport gauges in the central MMI, there we have a sportier look right there. That's just a minor change, but you could also go for the whole dynamic view. This looks really different then. You can still have a map view all over the place, but then have more this, tech view, I would call it. But I honestly prefer the more classic way in this case. Do you? So is there any compromise for the rear? First of all, in design, here, this is then the same. Is it the same material really as in the front? That's a tough question. Yeah, I think it's the same material. So it's rather hard, but not the hardest material I felt. Yeah, could be softer, definitely. That also a clean design here. And for the rear, this could very well be a normal Q5 as well. The question is, what about the headroom? Because you remember the roofline is falling. So what's happening? First of all, enough knee room. So that's when I would be driving. And the rear part of the seat can be adjusted like this, more upright or more backward. And also we can slide this bench forward and backward. So very practical thing to, make the trunk a little larger or not. And now when I put my spine up, it's actually no problem. So I still have enough headroom here. So sitting here in the rear is just as good as with the normal Q5. And now to the rear, electric hatch is standard. And here we go. And everything you see, also the whole lights are being full up. That's like typical Q5, that you have this empty area here because the lights are being built in the hatch. And capacity-wise, you lose 40 liters comparing to normal Q5, 510 liters, and then up to, around 1,500 liters. The normal Q5 is a little bit more than that. This one here is a little bit less than 1,500 liters, but you can easily live with that. Put a backpack inside here, and the only thing you do lose when you put everything like in the very rear, and then you lose a little bit of height right here. That's the thing that is the disadvantage, but it still works. Put it like this, and then it's already is quite okay. Here, a nice cover here, also with rails at the sides. And now to our conclusion for today with the new Audi Q5 Sportback. This body form, this mid-size SUV coupe or SUV coupes in general, they really split opinion. It's really love or hate. So some say it's just more beautiful, it's just sportier and so on. It's more dynamic, you just have more emotional connection. Others say I prefer the practicability of the classic SUV building form, or maybe even detest this look. So it's really up to you. It's more a design cue. Definitely from the front, a very beautiful piece here, especially with this facelift changes. If you look at the normal Q5 model, also very beautiful Thomas blue color here for today. In the rear, I find the normal Q5 more beautiful, but I really would like to hear your opinion of that in the comments. From the interior, a great build quality as we know from Audi, really sophisticated feeling. The only things that are missing is that you also get in high trim levels some more alternatives to the animal skin surfaces. Other than that, you also have decent space on the inside. And even here in the Sportback model, you do not lose too much trunk space, just a little bit in the height in the very rear area. But it's not that it would change the total, everything of the vehicle. It's more than, again, a styling decision. So What's your take? Join us in the discussion. I hope you enjoyed our tour here for today. And of course, next time we will drive this thing. See you later, or see you next time.